All of a sudden, she knew where she was. She was home.
Hello ladies and gentlemen and everyone beyond, I am BabyNoobCakes and this is Twitch Prime free game reviews, and in this episode we're going to be taking a look at one of the March 2020 free games, Epistory, Typing Chronicles.
Came from Nest of Darkness.
Let's turn up page on a new story, find out what type of game this is, and we'll find out what a novel concept it is. Maybe a font of inspiration? In an attempt to answer the question, as one of the free games of the month, was it worth it? Mechanics. Epistory is a typing action puzzler RPG. In a very similar style to Typing of the Dead, you use your words to fight enemies. And while Typing of the Dead and quite a few other typing-based games out there are pretty much just an on-rails shooter with typing instead of aiming and shooting, this game takes that formula and goes much deeper. You of course need to spell words quickly and correctly in order to progress. In fact, you don't need your mouse at all to play. You can hit the tab key to open the menu, and from there, you can type in all of the menu commands. There's definitely no way you can use a controller on this one either. Throughout the game, you earn 4 different elements, which you can switch between by typing their name. These elements can change how your attacks affect enemies. Fire will burn away an additional word from an enemy's list. Ice will freeze them in their tracks. Spark will jump to other enemies and knock out more words. And wind is the best for keeping enemies away from you and giving you more time to type their lives away. Also, if you type quickly enough as you continuously fight enemies, break obstacles, and open chests, you can maintain a combo that can increase the amount of experience points you get. By simply reaching certain thresholds of experience points, you unlock expansions to the ever-growing world map. Hidden around the world map are additional XP pickups. Main story dungeons, which each give you one of the elements to use. Optional side quest dungeons, which are mostly just for gaining more experience points to open more areas and to unlock a few collectibles. There are also nests, which are trial zones that provide increasingly difficult waves of enemies to fight off and gain even more experience points. The XP also grants you higher levels, and for each level you go up, you get 2 points to spend on passive abilities. These include more powerful versions of your elemental powers, more time to keep your combo meter running, hints about where to find the next treasure chest or dungeon, faster running and sprinting, and teleportation around the map. Art style. This game has a very unique style, consisting almost completely of paper cutouts and origami. In addition to this papercraft design, warm lighting, colors, and other effects add to the environmental feel. The only other game I've ever seen even close to this style is Tearaway, but I feel like the only thing that the two really have in common is the fact that they look like they're made of paper, and still definitely aren't exactly the same in gameplay or design. As you move throughout the world map, the landscape itself expands out before you like the turning of pages in a book, and the words of narration appear on the ground, functioning as both storytelling flavor and landmarks for your accomplishments.
Idle winds played in her hair. She smiled for a moment, delighting in its feather touch, until the wind picked up, and tornado's fury blotted out the sun.
The landscape itself is made up of rich colors, charming backgrounds, and small little details that show the care that is taken with the game's creation. You, of course, play the little papercraft girl who sits astride her adorable yet regal 3-tailed fox. It would be possible to recreate this entire world using papercraft. In fact, the whole game evokes a feeling of a well-crafted diorama. Sound. Throughout most of your playthrough, you'll be listening to the ambient noises of the forest. the desert, and the factory towns in which you find yourself. When battle kicks up, so does the music, and it'll have you engaged with this typing game. Another thing to note about the sound design here is that the developers put a lot of work into the small details. You'll hear a lot of paper-based noises, whether that's crinkling, folding, burning, or if it's the sound of pencils writing upon paper, scratching out a quick message. The sound effects really help sell that this world is made of paper. Replayability. Epistory will last you about 5 to 7 hours. There are actually multiple ways to conquer this game. You can choose which direction to go and progress further and tackle each section of the game as long as you have enough experience points to unlock that portion of the map. The only limit to your progression is which powers you have unlocked. Each power opens specific areas of the map to you, and without them, you won't be able to progress in that direction. There are also optional areas and optional quests to take on. The words generated over top of each enemy are also randomized to an extent, meaning you'll get a slightly different play experience if you were to start up again, but not by a lot. You will end up typing some of the same words multiple times, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, and this could be a great game to teach someone proper typing technique, and would be great for people, young and old, who maybe don't typically play games, but love books and writing, and typing most of all. Narrative. Epistory Typing Chronicles, surprisingly, has a deep-ish story. You play a girl who rides atop a three-tailed fox. As you begin the game, you find yourself lost above a void with only one pathway forward. As you progress further into the game, you find different areas of the world that have been distorted or tainted in some way, and you need to stop the corruption and bring the world back to life. To do this, you need to destroy the insectoid enemies that inhabit these lands. However, as you play through the game, you will find small hints here and there.
I am not a writer. This is not my muse.
Alluding that something deeper is going on, other than just the mystical and magical things that you encounter. And I can't say much more than that without spoiling it. You'll just have to play it for yourself.
I worked so hard, and now I feel like it's drowning me. Please don't leave me. Not like this.
My opinion. I had a lot of fun with this game, and I really couldn't put it down either. I've not played too many typing games because I always thought of them as kind of boring, since the gameplay is only typing. This game, on the other hand, had a wonderful papercraft style, an engaging story, various powers to manage, and a lot of RPG elements that I really didn't expect. It's made me think a lot more than a regular typing game would. It had a charm to it, coming from a small indie studio with only 30 people, and you can tell that it was made with a lot of love and has a cohesive story and style in mind. The game also doesn't overstay its welcome. It has a beginning, middle, and end. It tells its story, and it's over in just a few hours. Was it worth it? This decision is going to be a very difficult one. I'm very much on the fence about it. I had a great time with this game, and I would recommend this game to my friends, but it's not just about me. I know that a lot of people out there aren't gonna play typing games. They aren't that popular. This game is also about 4 years old at this point, coming out in 2016, and it's not too expensive of a game, even if you were to buy it at retail cost. For example, getting a $60 game for free with Twitch Prime Pass would be a really big deal, whereas this $15 game might not be seen as a worthwhile reward. However, many indie games get overlooked in favor of AAA games when they may be able to provide just as good of a gaming experience, if not better, than a AAA title. One piece of good news for everyone, though, are the system requirements. just about any PC or laptop could play this game pretty easily, and you don't even need a controller or mouse to play it. So considering all of that, and I know this game is not as accessible as some of the others on this month's list, but I'm gonna say that this game was worth one of our spots this month. Twitch Prime doesn't always give out the newest games or the best games in all reality, but like I said, this was one that I just couldn't put down, and I think I'd rather trade a more expensive game that might last for 20 to 40 hours for this one if that other game were boring, because this one wasn't. It held my interest, and I think it will for you too. But maybe that's for you to decide.
Even in darkness.
Whether you agree or disagree with my judgment, get at me in the comments. Let me know what you think, and let's discuss if this month's games were worth it or not. Also, don't forget to go onto the Twitch app and download your free games every month, because hey, they're free, and sometimes you'll end up with a few gems. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.